What's up, guys? My name is Josiah. I'm here with the Nate Birdine, and you are listening to The Collab.
The Collab podcast.
Season 1.
Episode 1.
Let's go.
Let's go. I'm excited. I'm excited. We got a name. We got all those things. I'm excited.
Someone with a logo. Hey, we're going to drop merch for y'all. Hey, it's going to be crazy.
See, Josiah's a creative, all right? So, look, I'd be like, Josiah, I got an idea. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to, preach to students. He's like, all right, so how we going to get a logo? How we going to do this? How we going to make sure more students can come? Josiah will hype you up. He's a creative.
I will. I'll hype you up all day. Speaking of hyping you up, how are you doing today?
Good, I did my yoga this morning. I'm a gear guy, so I need the right gear. I got if I'm playing a football game, I need to buy new cleats. I need all the things.
Yes, sir.
So I bought a yoga mat, the yoga blocks.
What are yoga blocks?
Okay, listen. So this is blocks, right? About this big, and they just help. They help you with balance, little strength. You do push-ups off them.
Okay.
Game changer. Anyway, so I did yoga this morning with my girl Janelle on Apple Fitness Plus.
Ooh,
free. That's a plug. Shameless
Nate
plug
is
right there.
the all-time Apple product guy.
Yes.
Apple product
Apple,
till you die.
Apple, man, I got an Apple ring on. Now I'm playing.
Hey, you got the Apple card.
Ooh, I do.
That was filthy. You pulled and paid with that. I was like,
oh, hey, listen, that's what for church reimbursement. So I actually hit my real bank account.
Same.
Like, hey, take that credit card, skirt, and you get the points. Is it fraud? I don't know, but it works.
I get the flower miles, so we're good to go.
Man, why you go so many flights? Man, I'll just be paying for everything.
For all those people who don't believe in Christians doing yoga, unpack that a little bit.
Whoa, wait, is that a thing?
Yeah, are you serious?
That's the thing?
Because people think of yoga as this spiritual exercise. A demonic spiritual exercise. So explain.
Demonic?
Yeah, people be like, oh, this isn't centered around Jesus. Meditation, first century, that's biblical. Middle East, meditation, that's Jesus. But,
that's interesting.
Yeah. So Christians don't believe in yoga, most of them.
I told you before this, I'm feeling spicy. What game do we usually watch on Sundays?
What game?
Yeah, what game?
Football?
Yeah. Does that have anything to do with Jesus? All right.
Hey.
What shows do we watch? Netflix, Peacock, The Office. What else should we be watching?
Good. Hey, I'm just saying this.
No, I'm not
for
saying.
the people.
I'm saying towards the people, not towards you.
Y'all heard that.
The
people heard that.
You watch Abbott Elementary.
Ooh, come on.
You watch all these shows.
Bridgerton,
bro. You watch Knives Out.
Is it Bridgerton or Bridgertown?
Bridgetown.
No, I think it's Bridgerton.
I think you're right, bro.
The booth doesn't know. They're not even in a booth.
They don't know. We don't know. But like I was saying, so in the non-rude way, if you're watching all those other things, I think people pick and choose what gets to be demonic. So if a person's listening to Christian rap, that's demonic. I've had parents come in and be like, oh, did they say it bad? Like, no, he just said Christ. But for some reason, so anyway, yoga. Yeah. I don't know about all the other stuff, but what I will say is I was talking to someone who does yoga, and they said instead of saying namaste, they say amen at the end.
Wow.
And so a lot of yoga is what are you, this sounds like some woo-woo stuff, but what are you focusing on? Yeah. And I focus on Jesus. To me, it's a spiritual time with Jesus. And so when I did yoga today, I laid on the ground. And I was praying. I was like, Jesus, thank you. This is awesome. The privilege to be able to do this. And so I think it's funny to me that people go, that's a demonic. Because I'm like, you watch football on Sunday where people getting CTE left and right. You don't get to choose.
It's not funny.
It's not funny.
Yeah.
But you're watching that.
Yeah, that's good.
And you're saying that's, I'm not saying football's demonic. I'm just saying we pick and choose what's demonic. Especially if you're watching scary movies. Yeah. Hey, if you're watching that.
Hey,
just because I do a little Warrior 2 pose, now I'm all wrong.
Downward dog?
Yeah, what's up? Just because I'm going into the Cobra, now I'm tripping. All right. So that's my thought. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
Big. It's all good. Huh. Let's get back on track. What is the collab? Where did this come from? Why are we calling this podcast The Collab?
Okay, so I've known you for a long time.
Yep. Since you were in high school.
Since I was in high school. And, I try to bring all my friends to youth and all that stuff.
Yep. And you did.
Yeah. Yes. And Josiah's been dripped out since the minute I met him. But what our senior pastor called me and was like, hey, do you want to work at Life Center?
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I met with him, and then I met with all y'all, like the whole for the interview, and you were in there. And I didn't even think that you'd be in that room. And we just hadn't talked, so I was like, man, like I don't really know about Josiah. Not in like a character way, but like we just weren't close. And literally like the first day I was like, oh, this is my boy. And what I love about the reason for the collab and collaboration is this idea of like, I think we come from obviously not two different worlds, but just we're different people with different race, ethnicities, we're tall, all these different things. Short, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you can do a backflip. I couldn't even try, that's funny ways. But honestly, I think in the ways that we think as well, like we'll sit in, I was telling our students the other day, we'll sit in in our office and working, but also be like, hey bro, what do you think about this? Hey bro, what do you think about this? And I was thrown off the first time you asked me about something when it came to how you would lead from my perspective. I was like, dog, you don't need me, bro. You are my boss. I should be asking you all the time, like, hey bro, what you think? But you asked me, and to me that was the idea of that collaboration. That's what I think about when it comes to the collab. Is like, I think often I know that if I come to you, I can come unfiltered and be like, hey bro, this is what I think about this. Here's my thoughts. Here's my opinion. Not this idea of where I'm like pushing people down, but I can be like, bro, this is where my pain is. This is where my hurt is. Or this is what I'm thinking. Like I've come to you and been like, hey bro, I got a question about this sermon or this scripture. What is it? And then you've been like, let's find out together. And that's to me what collaboration is, because it's not you just going, Nate, do what I say, or it's not me just going, oh Josiah, this is how I think, deal with it. It's coming together and truly sharing our thoughts, which is lost in a lot of the world today. Is everyone wants to build their own thing. Everyone wants to build their own platform, which I guess in the digital age is cool in some ways, but also in a lot of ways, whose platform are we supposed to be building? Are we supposed to be building others up, or am I just supposed to build Nate up? You know what I mean? So that's what I would say. My heart is behind the idea of naming this the collab and doing the podcast. Yeah.
What do you think is like the biggest value and reason, like we should collaborate with each other?
Yeah. I go back to this all the time, and I could be way out of left field with this, but Jesus said, love the Lord your God, and then love your neighbors as yourself. And so when I think about that, collaboration to me isn't just like, hey, let's just talk and do things together. It's actually lifting other people up. Because if I decide to collab with you, what I'm saying is we're doing it together. So now, like, if anything I do with you, like, say something fails, Josiah and Nate failed together. Not, it's not just like, oh, bro, he was tripping. I was good. And that's what fails in today's world, and why I think collaboration is so essential, especially for younger people. Is they're taught there's a couple mindsets out there. The number one toxic one is this idea of like this grind, hustle mindset. I gotta grind, I gotta go get it. And they share those like really corny memes of this like the shredded dude, and he's like, I'm just gonna grind till I get it all right. And I'm like,
clock in, clock out.
Clock in, clock out. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but you're doing it by yourself.
Wow.
You have no one to hold you accountable. Do you know that maybe the way that you're lifting or working out actually isn't good for you? It's good for someone else, but not for you. And I think that the hard thing about collaboration, I'd love to know what you think about this too, is I think people, the thing about collaboration is it requires accountability. I tell this story all the time, and I know Josiah doesn't like it, but I tell all the time, your boy used to be late all the time to everything. Just everything. Bro, I wasn't. Like, hey, bro, I'd be like 15 minutes late. Bro, I'm not even awake. And I tell that joke because I had to learn that. And what you decided to do is you decided to collaborate, not just, in this podcast that we do later, but collaborate in life and go, hey, bro, be better. Like, text me. You're not in trouble. Just text me. And show up. Wake up earlier. And I was like, and slowly, your boy's on time. You know what I mean? And like, and now it's a value of mine simply based off that collaboration. And so I know that's like a silly example, but I take it serious because now like I feel good being on time to things. But before I was like, well, if you show up 5 minutes early, you're weird. But I think collaboration requires accountability, and that's why it's good, but a lot of people shy away from doing it.
I think like collaborating with somebody shows that you value them. That idea of like, hey, I value and love you enough that we're going to partner in something and succeed or fail. it's together.
Yeah.
Because if you don't value someone, then you're not even going to collaborate with them. You're not even going to partner with them because you're so concerned with the outcome that you miss the person. And I think that's like a huge problem we run into when it comes to collaboration is we're so self-centered, you know, self-focused and goal-oriented. That's like, oh, if I collaborate with you, you're going to take us off target of the goal. And so I'm just going to refrain from collaborating with anyone because I have these goals that I want to go after. But really, collaboration is the heart of Jesus, right? In John 17, he said, may they be one as you and I are one, right? So just as Jesus and the Father are one, may the disciples, may the world, may all the believers be one. It's like you can't really be one if you never value somebody, never love them and collaborate with them on a level of saying, hey, I don't have it all together. You don't have it all together. Let's come together and be better together. And continue to see, okay, where can this go in the collaboration process?
That's great. And who's the only one who didn't have to collaborate with anybody? Jesus.
Yeah.
He didn't need any of y'all. He didn't need us. He doesn't need us.
But yet
he did.
Woo!
He said, bro, I'll pick you. He picked the scrubs.
Dang, that's good.
He picked and I know we bring this up a lot, but he picked the people that were on the side. And he said, nah, you lead this thing. You do this thing. I was reading, my book. I love reading my books now.
About to start book study?
Yeah.
Book club.
Book club. The Collab book club. But when I was reading it, it was talking about this idea, like, at the end of Jesus' life, or, when he's going to get crucified, they had all hid. They all hid so that because they feared that they would die as well. And so if I were Jesus and I were to come back, I'd go, what? Y'all left me.
Yo.
You Peter, you said this and you said, like, what happened? But he didn't do that. He actually goes right back to them and tells them what? He goes, hey, I will build it on you even after you failed. Even after you left me truly in my darkest hour, I'm still going to be with you. And like you said, that's collaboration. It's also willingness to fail. I think we always think about succeeding, right? So, like, we come together and I'm like, man, we're good. Like, we'll be okay. But also, like, what if you fail? What if it doesn't happen? Like, we've done some events where we're like, hey, yo, this thing's going to be crazy. You're like, oh, snap. It wasn't as crazy as I thought it was going to be. And that's okay. But so many people just care about end products. There's so many young people who care about what they look like when they're 30 that they're not paying attention to being around the people that they are when they're 17 or when they're 23. You know what I mean? Like me. Like, I could worry about 50 all day, but that's later. I got to worry about where I'm at now, today, and the people that I can collaborate with today. So.
And I think over and over again, just bringing up, like, it is like the lack of collaboration is due to that outcome-focused mindset. Because it's like, oh, we're so concerned on, like, where we're going and we're not concerned about how we're getting there. And I think, like, we miss that all the time. It's like, okay, I'm not saying people are like this, but I'm saying to some extent, you're like, okay, I'm just going to push people down. I'm going to climb the ladder. I'm going to go to the top. But I think more importantly, as followers of Jesus, and I would say just anyone, whether you have faith or not, like, I think relationship needs to be essential. It needs to be center, right, in just humanity, because it's like, man, that's all we got. Like, the money and all the cars, that can be stripped away in an instant. One mistake, you can lose everything. So yeah, everything can be gone in an instant, right? And so it's like, we need to spend more time focusing on how we're going to get there, like who are the people around, building the team, collaboration, loving people, compassionate, forgiving, than just where we're going to. Because I don't want to get to the top and then look around on the mountain and be like, let's go, and there's no one there.
I did it.
Yeah. Like, I want to get to the mountaintop and have a whole squad with me. Like, let's go. I know I heard a pastor say, like, when any of his friends, like, succeed or whatever, or they make it, win a Grammy or whatever, he'll text him back, hey, we made it. He did anything to do, had anything to do with it. It's like, we made it. And they're like, what the heck? But, like, that idea of, like, are we going to the mountaintop with people? Or are we so concerned with getting there and I don't get there faster? But it's like, I don't want to just get there fast. Like, I want to get there together. And value people along the way.
That's great. And the lack of continuing, speaking on the lack of, like, and people are like, you make it churchy. We're pastors. What do you want? So, like, when I think about it, I think about this, right? there's a generation of young people and adults that the reason they don't have faith today is because we were outcome focused. Okay, I love the big conferences just as much as anybody. I love those things. But what happens is we said, hey, how many people are going to raise their hand that we forgot about the process between some people call it sanctification. We forgot about that process. So what happened is we got a bunch of young people to go, oh man, I got it. I'm good. I'm in. And you can debate that all day. But like you said, it's about relationship. Am I actually going to truly collaborate? Because that costs something, right? Like, are you willing to lose something? Are you willing to lose fame? Are you willing to lose popularity? And I think, as I think about the young men that I walked with, like, they were at camps, they were the loudest. They caused the most. I mean, they broke stuff. I mean, they got in fights. I mean, I almost had to take a kid home. Like, wild stuff. But I wouldn't trade it for the world, because those are the kids that I decided to walk with and process. And I think collaboration has to be a place where the person that's higher, quote unquote, puts themselves at the level of the people that they're deciding to work with.
Wow, that's good.
Because that's what collaboration is, right? It's not like, oh, that's a good idea, we're not doing it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's a good idea, let's talk about it. Or, hey man, if you break something, I'm gonna still be with you. And so the reason I brought up that example is I think even for our young people, they need to see adults and their youth leaders and their youth pastors and their parents. They need to see them collaborating so that they believe that that's the heart and it's not outcome focused, right? Like, I've decided to stop asking kids, what are you going to do like when you grow up? It's like, I don't know, a doctor or something? Okay. And instead of asking, like, what are you excited about, like, right now? Like, how you doing right now? Like, how's school? Because you might not even be if you're a 7th grader, you're not worried about what you're going to do when you grow up. Just worry about now. Worry about the people you have. Because that's how you learn, and that's how you grow. And so, I think you're right. I think we got so outcome focused. Now we're having to save or help reteach a whole generation. And that's where people, if we want to get real spicy, that's where this idea of deconstruction comes up. Because I think a lot of people got to the outcome that or thought they had the outcome they wanted and realized, oh, my life is still broken. Hold on. And it was a false gospel for them. So
I think even when it comes, I mean, since we're getting spicy, like even when it comes to deconstruction, like listening about it, reading up about it, it's like, to me, I'm like, why are we so upset about this idea of people going through deconstruction? Are we so concerned about defending the gospel, defending the creator of the universe, that we get mad at society for deconstructing their faith? And to be honest, like, what's wrong with that? Like, if you're going to believe in something, like, truly believe in it. And if you don't, then okay, deconstruct it to a place where it's like, okay, you can get to, like, okay, I don't believe in it, or I do believe in it because I start from the bottom for myself and then try to build it back up. And sometimes you just have to tear it down and to be like, hey, what do I believe? You've shared your stories of like, man, it's like, I don't believe in Jesus anymore because people said Jesus is white and Jesus ain't white. So it's like, I'm out. And it's like, are we allowing people to process? Are we allowing to collaborate with them in the journey? And I think we don't, because we're like, or people don't collaborate because it's messy and it's not easy. And it's like, okay, if it's messy, I don't want to get messy. It's not easy, I can get there by myself. And so therefore we have a lack of collaboration, to some extent, I would say within the Christian world, because those two things we don't like, even though Jesus was about those things. He's like, hey, I'm going to be easy. If it's easy, boom, I'll do it right now. Disciples, feet clean.
Easy.
He's like, no, I'm going to get messy.
Get in it.
I'm going to get in. I'm going to wash those stinky feet. And to show you an example, that's like, no, collaboration is necessary. And life doesn't have to be clean and pristine. It's not going to be easy. So it's like, let's just care about the people. And
it's if you're going in, because I've been on that journey, and I think that's what's huge is people got to hear stories from people they know. Because I think when we hear the word, we're like, because when we hear deconstruction, what people think if we're saying is, I don't like Jesus no more. I ain't messing with y'all, and I'm out. Now, some people do end up at the end of that journey with that goal in mind, and they're like, that's where I ended. And that's very, very upsetting. That's sad. But like I said, like, I had to relearn because he's not a God of power.
Yeah.
He's not about strong-arming people into this. And he's brown. And some people say, who cares? That's powerful to me.
Yeah.
That's powerful to me. Jesus is black. He's powerful to me.
Come on.
And I know people are like, what'd you say? But that's what I think is huge, is when it comes to deconstruction, you're like, oh, this is wrong. But the thing is the opposite of faith is not doubt. The opposite of faith is actually thinking you got everything figured out. Ooh. That's from Andy Mineo. Don't think he says it. I'm saying faith. You gotta bring out. Yeah, Andy Mineo, whatever. But that's what it says in that song, and it hit me. When I doubt, then I gotta put faith in something, right? And when I'm doubting to the point where I gotta take something apart, someone's got to help me put it together. And I think that's the poison when it comes to deconstruction, is people try to do it alone and they don't want to collaborate with people.
Wow.
It's easy to really be like, oh, I'm out on everything if you're the only person talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Right? I agree with everything Nate says because it's me. I'm agreeing with what I say. Yeah. But if someone else says it to me, I might be like, ooh, I don't really like the way you said that. And then I think the other thing is when people hear deconstruction, it's power. So people hear, oh, you're taking my power away.
Wow.
Okay? And that might be real, whatever,
great.
But it's power. Oh man, you're taking down the ideas, because we have, most of us have learned one way of life, one way of Jesus, not one way, but we've learned through one lens. Have you opened your lens? My question is, if you haven't, you may find yourself at some point in your life going, man, what do I believe? What do I know? Because then what if someone comes and challenges your thought? Man, I remember growing up in high school, at least, my pastor would always tell me, you need to defend your faith. You need to defend your faith. You need to be ready to defend your faith. I was like, bro, dude, nah. I
barely believe.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But the joke is I actually kind of like that, because I needed to be ready. I didn't know. And so it was about this apologetic. And then someone came to me and was like, how do you know he's real? And I was like, So I called my pastor and I was like, hey, bro, I need you to help me defend my faith.
Yeah.
And I needed someone to walk with me and tell me man, how do I know? And then after he told me, not go, okay, now I believe that, me actually going and dissecting it myself. So a lot of conversations, but mainly the goal is that you can't do any of it alone. Can't do the faith journey alone. Can't do. I wouldn't do any type of ministry alone. You can't do these things alone, because you'll end up dead. Maybe not physically, but spiritually or mentally. You'll just be like, oh, I'm exhausted because no one was with me.
Yeah, and I think this weekend we're going to Lead Local. Shout out Matt Harder for putting this on. But the idea of that is don't do ministry alone. So it's a collaboration, of youth pastors, youth leaders, volunteers to say, hey, we are better together. And we're going to believe in that so much that we're going to throw on a conference, throw on an event to say, hey, we believe in collaboration. So let's bring around people to collab with so we can get better from there. I mean, that's not easy. I see everything Matt is doing and I'm like, dang, this guy just did this event in Miami. Then right when it was over, he's texting me hey, you ready? You ready for next weekend? Let's go. And I'm like, bro, get home to your family first. I'm like, why are you texting me right now? He texted me at 6:30 this morning. I'm like my phone's sleep mode, so I didn't hear it. But at the same time, I'm like, dang, text me at this early in the morning, and he's ready. And he believes in it so much that it's it's going to be messy. It's not going to be easy. It's not easy to have whatever 12 youth pastors on your mind saying them a text to be like, hey, let's go, let's do this together. And that's where I'm like, it takes you have to stretch your capacity when it comes to collaboration. And so it's anyone who wants to collab, don't get discouraged your first time collaborating with anyone, whether it's a team sport, whether it's team project, school project, whatever it is. Don't get discouraged if the first time is a failure. First time sucks. No, continue, because it's worth it. It's worth the mess. It's worth the difficulty, because that's the beauty of the kingdom of what we're trying to represent, is every tribe, every tongue represented. And so it's if we don't go through that, the struggle of it and the wrestle of collaboration, then we're never going to reflect the kingdom of God.
Exactly. Okay. Dang. He did a few after his own point. Let's go. But yeah, I think, and as I think about his heart for Lead Local, we both know how hard it is when it comes to the youth world or just leader world. Like it's hard. People don't want to collaborate.
Yeah.
And I've even been in that past sometimes. I'm like, I don't really know if I mess with any of y'all, but I'm like, I gotta focus up and I gotta care about the people that I'm with and around. And so, but I think when I think about collaboration, especially between youth people or youth leaders, all those kinds of things, it's we have to fight for it. And you've heard this all the time. I don't know. It used to be said all the time. Youth ministry is ministry is the loneliest thing you ever do.
Yeah.
Why did we tell people that?
Yeah.
So you're going to bring a bunch of people who are excited to do youth, do faith things, and you're like, hey, this going to be lonely. What? Like, how many people you think got hired in jobs just around the world that were like, hey, man, we're super excited to have you, but you're going to be lonely. What? And so that's what confuses me so many times is we even set people up for like, hey, you're going to be alone. You're going to be alone. And what I love is about these lead local things or things, youth pastor breakfast, or all the different things that you do to bring leaders together is now we're going to do it together. Because everyone else wants to do it apart. Even the world, wants to do it apart. We're going to do it together. We're going to walk in step and do it together. And we may fail, we may disagree, but we're going to do it together.
And I love even like sometimes you look at culture, and I think the Christian world, the church world, like can get very negative with pushing down culture. But sometimes I feel like culture is doing things better than the churches to some extent. Just think about how many artists collab on a song together. When Kanye did his first live in-person concert since before COVID, he did it with Drake. And I was like, hey.
His enemy.
Yeah, exactly. People want to put Kanye and Drake against each other. And he's like, hey, watch this. Collab, boom, and does a concert with Drake. And I'm like, hey, that's filthy. And just like, you going into the basketball realm, like, hey, come play for me. Like, let's build the whatever team, and like the world does such a great job at like, hey, we want to collaborate and build the best whatever. And we know it takes a team. And we know it's like, LeBron's like, hey, I got this. I'm going to put the Lakers on my back. No, he's like, hey, I need AD. I need Russell Westbrook.
Like,
I need Carmelo. I need Austin Reeves to come in clutch.
Let's
Hello.
go.
I'm like, they're collabing. And it's like, how can we get to that spot?
I don't know. And the funny thing is, if you bring up the NBA idea, like old heads in basketball, man, I sound like my dad, but old heads in basketball will make fun of that collaboration.
Yep. Oh man.
They're coming together.
Oh.
Man, they're coming together. I heard this podcast the other day that was like, he's in the league with all his little bros.
Yeah, I saw that. I was so mad.
And I was like, all right, cool. I mean, you can agree in some extent, but what's wrong with playing with people you like?
Come on.
Why does everyone I gotta play against be my enemy? So back then, like, y'all were hating each other, punching each other. I don't want to do none of that. I'm just trying to make money and hoop. I don't know. That's my goal.
For real.
And so, so you heard it, and I was like, that's interesting to me. And everyone's like, yeah, I agree. And I'm like, do y'all agree? Because, like, this league is fun. Like, I love watching basketball. The All-Star games are so much fun. I know all that stuff happened then, too. But it's funny how it's, even in the world, like, that collaboration's made fun of. And I think, and LeBron is obviously, like, next gen. Like, he's old. But, like, that generation that is in the league right now coming up, that's what they're about. Yeah. They're about. And I know it sounds weird, but they're about justice. I mean, obviously, like, they'll come at you. They'll hoop you up. But they're about being together. Yeah. Man, you go to these schools now, and all of them are just kicking it. There's no groups anymore. Yeah. People make fun of it, like, oh, there's cliques. Man, I walk into the school, I'm like, where? Yeah. Maybe there's some kids that are the same hanging out, but I see them hanging out with each other. And so it's like, if the young people get it, but then the people who are older are making fun of them, will they stop collabing at some point? Ooh, dang. Or will they go, oh, well, let's not do that?
That's good.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's that. The collaborative spirit is on the up and up. It's like everything you see, and or at least a lot of people who are like making impact and influence or have influence are like, they catch on to it. Like, oh, collaborating is the way to go. That's the way of the world. It's the way of Jesus. Like, hey, let's do it. And so it's like, but it's not easy because we keep on fighting against the glass ceiling of like the the older generation of saying, nah, like, you're soft.
You should hate him.
You're soft.
Go at him.
Like,
forget him. Talk about his family. And you're like, what?
If you're older and you're watching, I'm sorry, but not sorry. Because we have to fight for collaboration. Yeah. And that's the heart. You know, it's the heart of Jesus saying, hey, let's be one, just as I and the Father are one. And it's going to be messy. It's not going to be easy. And it's going to take listening.
Ooh, we talked about that one.
Yeah, we talked about it. You watch the last episode and you'll hear a lot about listening.
Yep.
But any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I think when it comes down to it, I think fight for collaboration. I think we find, now that we're talking about culture, man, I feel like I got Josiah's brain right now. But like, I think about all the companies that come together and decided to do things together, right? You got Nike and Supreme. You know, these companies will come together.
North Face, Supreme,
they'll
Louis
come
V.
together, and it's like, obviously those things are expensive.
Yep.
You'll never catch them on my body. I'm sorry, unless I know LeBron. But like, the reason I share that is like, collaboration is the way to go. You're better together. I forgot what I was reading, or like, I think it was an article, but it was talking about this idea of like, a lot of companies just figured out like, if you do it better than me, why would I not partner with you and do it together?
Yo.
Right? If we have the same heart, the same vision, the same goal, if you do it better than me, why not? And I think what happened is like, we would take pride, and what happens is, there's nothing wrong with failing. But sometimes we take pride, and people want to help us. And people, I think about people around the holidays, right? And they're like cooking these big meals. And I know a lot of parents are like, no, I'm cooking this meal. Mm-hmm. And I'll hop in, I'll be like, hey, yo, can I help y'all out? But oh no, I don't need any help. And then I'm hearing how stressed people are, and I'm like, I asked to help you out. And so it's like, and they get it done, you know, boom, 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 pop. And it's like, but I think that's what we need to do, is we got to fight for that collaboration. Hey, how can I help you out? Mm-hmm. How can I be there for you? So that people don't take the pride, hold it in, and fail. So when people ask, like, how can I help you? Find something. Man, hey, you know what would really help me? Like, I've had people ask me, I'm like, oh, I'm good. Hey, you know what would really help me? Hold this cord for me. Or, man, could you pray for my family right now? Or, you know, hey, could you send an email for me? You know, if you guys work together, those kinds of things. Really collaborate and really be willing to hand things off to people, because then that makes you lighter to do more things and collaborate.
Let's go. Hey, you heard it here, folks. Ooh, that's a wrap. Heart of Collaboration, Part 1. Let's go.
Catch y'all next time.
Well, encourage you guys, like, share, comments, rate and review. We're on Apple.
We are on Apple now.
Apple Podcasts. Apple Music?
No. Apple Podcasts on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah,
unless we drop a mixtape.
Follow us on Spotify. Search The Collab with Josiah and Nate Birdine. Love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Catch y'all. Peace.